Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Teams Like Brighton. And it is always good to start off a podcast knowing that there are 3 points in the bag from the weekend. Richie, you went to the game. I kind of saw it on the highlights. What were your thoughts on the whole 90 minutes?
I mean, it was a real topsy-turvy game. Fantastic to back up the 4-1 thumping of Chelsea with another win. A very sort of different one, this one, because it was from obviously to have the whole second half playing against 10 men. They had to show a lot of patience. So they showed a different side of themselves to get the win. But yeah, I mean, it was just really seesawing. Obviously, Adam Lallana, we could chat to him a bit more, but for me, that was his best game in a Brighton shirt, which maybe isn't saying too much, but he was fantastic for the 6 or so minutes he was on. So obviously he took the lead, and then Brighton were playing some really good stuff, and then pretty much when it was 2-1, you were just like, how has this happened? Like, Brighton were by far the better team, but then they were just a couple of defensive lapses. I think, Estupinian and Mitoma were caught out for Wolves' equaliser. And obviously Dunkey raised his arm and the ball hit it in the penalty area. It's great. I think it was really important to get that equaliser just before half-time. And then obviously the real kicker was Mitoma getting, Semedo got sent off after fouling him. So, but yeah, I mean, I was just thinking, God, Brighton played really well. I think they do deserve to win this, but Wolves are just hanging in there being dogged. So I was just like, it's just going to end 2-2. It's going to be a disappointing one. But then your man, De Kaiser, popped up and carried on his great goal scoring form. So yeah, for me, it was a thoroughly deserved win. Wolves were better than I thought they would be. I think just in terms of, 6 goals in 13 games prior to the match, managerless, looking quite rudderless. I thought this was a very good time to play them, but I think the news of I probably can't pronounce his name, Lopetegui, the new manager. Basically, I think the news of him being announced.
I think it's Julen Lopetegui.
There you go. I think then his announcement sort of lifted the crowd a bit before the game, to announce this former Real Madrid and Sevilla manager. I think that gave the crowd a bit more of a lift, and they were, I'd say, less maybe quick to get on their backs. But in the end, obviously, it didn't matter. But yes, a very, very good 3 points. And I think this was another sign of sort of just things clicking under Zerbi. Some of the patterns of play were really, really good. And Mitoma was fantastic. So, yeah. What about you?
I mean, I was literally just about to jump on that. Just how good was Mitoma? I was so pleased to see him really striking off kind of like that impact sub vibe that he had.
Yeah.
And just dominating that wing for 90 minutes to the point that Semedo had to resort to pretending like as if he was playing in the Rugby League World Cup instead of playing actual football. I was a big fan
of... It was a good tackle that, though. Really, both arms, good wrap, bring him down.
Tackle. Yeah, it really looks after him. It was no tipping tackle like you saw in any of the tests this weekend. I believe that was actually South Africa that was really bad at that this weekend, but we'll move on from that very slightly. I was a big fan of Mitoma's reaction to that tackle. It was kind of like a flashback to Benjani's celebration, just constantly just going like that. He'll probably have a word about that just to say you don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah. I was not a fan of that. I was like, come on, just be like, whoa, but don't go like
his hands up, go, come on, ref, have a word. What
it was like he was Italian type thing. Yeah.
It was I was quite surprised the fact that the referee went with a yellow initially and VAR had to go over that with a red card. It was quite easily a red card offence. Like, even if it wasn't denying an obvious goal scoring opportunity, the guy literally did a rugby tackle on him. So
was it given a yellow card?
I don't know. I have to see it again.
I thought it was given. I mean, I could be doing a Chris Kamara. Was it a red card? But I thought it was a red card, and then they backed it up to check.
I think it
Right.
was. I think he went. I think he went yellow card. Oh God, now I can't remember. No, yeah, you're right. No, I'm getting myself confused now. Oh, for goodness sake. Yeah, because I remember the referee just having a look at it, they just telling him to go, and he was still insisting that he did nothing wrong. Yeah, you
I
are
think I
right. Yeah,
think I
it
think
was a red
you
card initially.
I think no, I think you were just in terms of like the general thought process because the amount of time they took for both the penalty and the red card, the whole thing is clear and obvious. But yeah, so you're
Yeah,
definitely it's understandable to think it was given this because they just took so long and everything. So yeah, but
exactly.
yes, glorious
But
Matoma.
again, and Matoma was just fantastic as well. I mean, the way he set up, he kind of like did the assist of the assist in Gross's goal, just being able to just go round the defense, go up that touch line in the box and just pass it out in the 6-yard box to someone in there. It is such a lethal tactic and he does it so well. And he's done it so many times for us already that you just know that that's just the thought process he's going to have. And if he doesn't do it, we've seen it with Japan, that he'll just go in, he'll try and cut out, and he'll try and have a shot on goal. And he's had moderate success on that as well in his time, both at Union SG and for Japan as well on the international stage. So I he's clearly become a massive fan favorite instantly. And just going on in that third goal as well. Richie and I were also talking about this just beforehand, just how much we loved it. But Zerbi's celebration for that third goal is just an experience that every fan just loves to see over and over again because his heart is there. He really has just taken in the whole aspect of the club, and it's like it goes back to what you said in his first press conference. He's very much a fan first kind of guy as a manager style, so he's very much in the thought process of the fans. And I just love what could happen sooner rather than later, especially when you've got big games from a fan perspective like Palace. Like I cannot wait to see him what he's going to be like at Palace. Like
Yeah.
in fact I just want to read something out because I was absolutely loving this from my mate Andy when I was mentioning De Zerbi's celebration. I sent it to him, and I think he just put it brilliantly. He goes, "Picture the scene: Selhurst Park, February. It's wet, it's windy, it's everything you don't want it to be in that stand. It's 1-1, 89th minute, and Zaha's just cupped his ears as he scored the last minute equaliser, thinking he's got the points. In comes the Brighton fans chanting away, and Brighton are pushing on for last minute winner. And who does it? None other than Leo Trossard. Brighton fans go into pandemonium in the away end. Players jumping into the fans to celebrate. You're at the front of it all. Solly screaming with delight in his face. But what's this you can see? Who's this great spiky man with white trainers just running across? It's not a player that you recognise, but it's De Zerbi. He's run the whole width of the pitch from the dugout to crowd surf with the fans with a bottle of warm Carlsberg. Someone snuck in. And how's that for a history lesson, Potter? Oh, love it.
I reckon he will. I would love to see a knee slide. I'd love to see a
Yes.
knee slide from him, like a little bit like I think it was at Paolo Di Canio back when he was at Sunderland, like just sort of ripping his trousers off to like
Love it.
go on the turf. But yeah, it's that yeah. I mean that just really quickly on that thing. I just remember. I can't remember. I mean, in terms of sort of bashing, like, Graham Potter would do like the old kind of, like obviously fist bump and hugs and whatever. But just, I just remember sitting in the press box and he just kept on going. He just kept on running. I was just like, yeah, it was really, really great to see.
He just loses himself in the moment, and I absolutely love it. I'm absolutely here for it. So, and the fact that was actually caught on camera. I remember a couple of the guys on Twitter, on the Brighton community anyway, just screaming and shouting, goes, "Please, someone has video of that.
Yeah.
Someone must have video of that." And of course they did. And just the way he reacts and it's just something that just warms. He just warms up to everyone because you just know he cares. He's got his heart and soul in this job, and I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. And long may that continue, I have to say. But I think we also have to mention this as well. We are sixth. We are very much in Europa League territory now. We're edging that closer bit now, and I'm loving it. I'm loving who's 7th, and I'm loving the fact that we're above them. And I really am looking forward to, hopefully we could get one up over Villa. Villa are good form at the moment, but I'm I'm just loving life at the moment, Richie. I love being a Brighton fan at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I think if they, I think regardless of what happens on at the end of this weekend's results, obviously before the World Cup break, Brighton will stay in the top 10. But if results go their way, they could go up to 5th and leapfrog Man U, which would be fantastic. So yeah, I mean, it just we'll come into this in a little bit, but yeah, Dunk, obviously Captain Dunk said that like there's still so much more to come from De Zerbi in terms of just him like teaching them certain things and tactics and just getting used to his system. But he does feel it's sort of really, clicking, and it feels like they understand what he wants from them. And so, I mean, some of the play, I mean, to mention our good old friend Garth Crooks, who's actually, I believe, picked 2 Brighton players in his team of the week. I think Lallana and Mitoma. And he basically said that this is some of the best football that he's seen Brighton play in the Premier League. So a nice bit of praise from usually someone who doesn't give us much praise. But
even when he gives the players a noble mention on this team of the week, he still finds a way to rant. I love it.
Exactly. But yeah, so I mean, some of the stuff that they play was really, really good. And for me, I think we'll just give person to talk about now. For me, Adam Lallana was a massive part of that. I think previously his only goal was against Leicester at the Amex in the 2021 season, and unfortunately Brighton lost that game. Leicester came back to win 2-1, but there's been so many times when he should have scored or at least contributed more. I think it was a case of him being style over substance too often. Nice little bits of footwork and interlinking play, but in the sort of the middle third or something like that, or not really being a threat going forward. And because obviously he had a very injury plagued spell at Liverpool, but there were definitely times when he showed good stuff, and he was a very, very good player when he was at Southampton, and he scored goals, and I think he wasn't really offering too much. And I think there was a feeling amongst fans that maybe others should be ahead of him in the pecking order. But I think off the back of that performance, a fantastically taken curling effort into the corner, first time strike, and then that footwork and just kind of amazing close control. Just to he was surrounded by 3 players, and then just was able to sort of slalom his way through 2 of them, and then just pick out an absolutely inch perfect cross to Mitoma, who is not the tallest guy, but absolutely powered a header into the corner. And that was just like fantastic. So if Lana can produce that more often, then he definitely deserves to start. Because I think in terms of his quality, he should be doing that more often.
Absolutely, and going back to the Lallana, like you say, for me as well, that was probably the best performance he's had in a Brighton shirt. He's been great, don't get me wrong, but I think everything.
I don't think he has been great though. I think he's been decent.
I think there's been a bit of a sense of some form of underwhelmment with him, but I think we've got to remind ourselves that this is a guy who joined us having been a year plus out with an injury. We got a guy in who is very much at the cusp at the end of his career. He's laden with injuries, which is a shame. And he's had a fair few lengthy spells out. So I think for what he has done, he's been good. What he did at the weekend was great. So I don't think he was brought in for what he could do on the pitch, or just on the pitch anyway. I think he was brought in as well what he could do off it as well, and what he could do after his playing days. He wasn't shy of saying that after when he signed for us as well, and he was very much sold on what Potter was saying about what he wants to bring in. Now he's very much heavily involved in De Zerbi's style of play, which is great to see. I think this is his last year on his contract, if I'm not mistaken. So
Yeah.
it would be interesting to see what happens next. Will De Zerbi give him a chance for another year at least, or will it be a case of I'm going to change things? I'm going to make wholesale changes. I do think Lallana is clearly a big presence in the dressing room. He's a massive leader on the pitch. You can see it just the way he directs people and tells people where they need to go. And his link-up play was just incredible. You really saw the Adam Lallana of the time when Liverpool was so interested in him and played well for him. And this is the guy that was actually Klopp's favourite player at Liverpool, don't forget. So he's got references galore, and for me it's really good to see that he's still giving it his all and just living up to the name and the signing that he wants to bring in. It very much 2.5 years on since we signed him, but I think he's such a great asset to the side overall, not just on the pitch but off it too.
Yeah, I think on that point, I didn't get the chance to him, but I think the Athletic did. Adam Webster basically said that Lallana has driven up standards in training a huge amount, just in terms of for the youngsters, but also just the professionalism, almost treating every single training session like it's a match day. And I think, yeah, and De Zerbi, I think on Saturday basically said he's going to make a really good coach, but he hopes that he'll stick around for a while. And I actually think Lallana said in a previous interview that he wanted to play for a number of years. So I think obviously his injury record, he has been quite unlucky with that. Obviously, we talked about it in the past when it was deja vu against Liverpool when in the previous season he came on as a sub and then basically lasted less than 10 minutes, and it was the same thing I think last season or the previous season before that. So I would maybe look at sort of a 1-year deal maybe because he's next year he'll be 35. But if he can still produce performances like he did, I think he's worth having around. I think he might not want to hang up his boots just yet. But another player who obviously is seemingly getting better with age, Pascal Gross. That was I believe his 5th goal of the season. That's more than he scored, I think, in the last 2 seasons combined already after 13, 14 games. He's having to play in an unfamiliar role in the last couple of games, playing at right back. And I think there was a couple of times when you're like, this is not why he's a right back. Like there's a couple of times when Podence, the Wolves winger, left him trailing in his wake, and he wasn't. It's like, oh god, this could be an area that they get a target, but that he sort of shrugged that off, and he proved that especially in attack, he still likes to get forward, and he's still getting better kind of off the ball. But yeah, and he said to so I was lucky enough to chat to him after the game, and he was basically saying how what he loves about the game in general is learning new ideas. He goes home, thinks about these things. He's absolutely football obsessive, just kind of loves that sort of thing. But he said, when I asked him, how are you finding it at right back? He said, I think I didn't play like a proper right back. I tried to do my job, defend, but also tried to have an impact when we are in possession, trying to give options in the build-up. And when we go further up, I enjoy it. I find it fun. It's right back against the ball, but you have to sort of interpret the situation. So where we are on the pitch, are we in the deep build-up? Are we attacking? It changes more in the game, but in the end, I play right back. I defend as a right back. That's where I always start from. I enjoy football. I enjoy different ideas. De Zerbi gives us lots of solutions and ideas. I think we can improve every day. I think we're getting better and better. So yeah, I mean, he's a student of the game. He loves it, and I think if he can keep on producing whatever position in the pitch, his legendary status is just going to grow and grow.
Yeah, I love him. I think he's. There's nothing much to say. I love that brilliant maestro of a German midfielder. Absolutely. I mean, talk about German efficiency. He does it week in, week out for us, and it just makes me laugh when I look back on some of the criticisms at certain corners of this fan base, and I just think, what are you thinking now? How's that humble pie you're eating? Because Pascal Gross probably is the best Premier League signing. Period. I'm going to say this guy kept us up. This guy had scored our first goal in the Premier League era. This guy's been formidable in supporting the wings. He's got his own skill named after him, and he's our playmaker. He's our defensive midfielder. He's our right back on shift. There's so much you can say about him where you just think, God, he's a good player. He's a great team player. He's a good squad player on rotation. Everything is great. So I've got no complaints so far.
Yeah, also, and that's his 22nd goal for the club, and he's had 31 assists, and obviously he cost 3 million. So
love it.
A bit of a bargain. One quick thing I want to add on the kind of the big decisions. What do you reckon on the? Obviously, I guess you said the red card definitely seemed like it was a red card. Did you think the penalty was the right call? It took a long time to actually get to the verdict.
I don't know why it took so long. It was a penalty, pure and simple. His arms were up like as if he was part of the village people singing YMCA. You don't need your arms like that. It's an unnatural position. You've made your body bigger, and it struck it. So you've gained an unfair advantage from it. So it is handball. It is a penalty every day of the week. So I can't have much complaint about it. I think it was one of those moments where it was just like, oh, you haven't helped yourself here, lads. So yeah, it was just one of those moments. But I think to put a positive spin on it, I think it's testament to the players of how they played afterwards. They reacted well. They lost their lead, and then they had a deficit to claw back on, and they did just that. And I think that's just testament of the mentality that we have at the moment in the side. And you look back on how we've been in the last couple of years, where rarely we really showed that, and that was the thing that was missing if we wanted to get European football. And we are seeing that, and it's only November. We're not seeing that towards the end of the season where we're clasping at straws. We're seeing this now in the heart of what could have been the silly season in the festive period, but because of the World Cup, that's now stopped. But again, we're still seeing all those really good, strong, positive signs of a really well constructed, mentally strong team. And you need to be mentally strong if you want to get European football.
Yeah, and just a quick thing. So yeah, I was chatting to Dunk after the game, and I asked him about the handball, and he said, obviously at the time, I just don't know where to put my arm. My body momentum has taken my arm up there. It has skimmed my arm and not even changed the direction of the ball. With VAR, I suppose they're going to give it. So it is something I've got to learn from. So I think, yeah, generally he's sort of like, I can't really do much. It's just a natural thing, but the rules are the rules, and he'll learn from that. And also just on your point of showing that battle and fight to come back, he said, we showed great fight to come back into it and make it 2-2. But he said that in the second half, they didn't move it quick enough. And I think that's what allowed Wolves to stay in the game. And I think a massive part of what Zerbi wants is really crisp, slick passing. For example, Manchester City is so good at it in terms of beating the press. But this is obviously, and we saw a fantastic example for Brighton doing that against City at the Etihad when they sort of lured in a couple of City attackers, but were able just to ping it about. And then in the end, I think, Brighton had a chance and Lamptey was not far away from scoring. And I think that's so much of what De Zerbi wants. The way he sees it is if you draw people in, and if you pass it around at the back really well, then you have a numerical advantage further up the pitch, and then you can attack that way. So it is a bit risky. Obviously, you're going to have to be very good in possession, but it can work very well, and you can overload the other team. But yeah, so he says that obviously a key part of that is being able to pass quickly. But he said, we showed patience to break them down. And it's really important with having that good passing, especially in the way they want to play. If you're not focused and not taking care on each pass, that's when you can get counted on. And obviously they had people like Adama Traore and stuff like that. But he says, I think in the second half, they didn't have many of those, bar a couple of corners and threats. But overall, I thought we were the better side and deserved to win. So Zerbi has spoken a number of times about how much he values the fans and how great the fans are. And he said after the game, I'm happy for our fans. When I was younger, I was a fan too. So I know very well the sense of the fans. When we play in the Brighton shirt, we have to show it respect. We wanted to celebrate with our incredible supporters. And, just in terms of saying the right thing, tick.
He knows, like I say, he's very much a fan-first kind of manager, and they are very few and far between at this level of the game, and it's just fantastic to see. So, yeah, you got to love him. You can't say a bad word about Zerbi at all. So I hope he's here for many, many years. I think he's going to be really successful for us, and long may the Zerbi era continue. Forza Zerbi.
So, big question, Tomo. Arsenal Carabao Cup Wednesday night. What do you think the personnel should be? Give some of the youngsters a go, or is this a chance to actually? Obviously, it's a very tough game against the top of the table side. What do you reckon? Will we bring the changes? Is this a chance to have a cup run, or what do you reckon?
I think if I was Zerbi, I'd be thinking I've got 2 games left until the World Cup. I don't have many of my players going on the international stage. I think I'll give it a risk. I think I'll put on a strong side. Probably a couple of the players. I'll probably look at Gilmore, Samiento, and Siso, just to give them a bit of a taste of the big stage. But if I was Zerbi, I'd be thinking, I want a trophy. I want to really make this work. I want to go for a cup run here, and if we could take on the most informed side in English football at the moment, go for it. Let's do it. We've done it before at the Emirates. What's to stop us believing this time around? Just because, they are clicking well. I think we should go for it. Go for it. Why not?
Nice. I mean, it's been a while since Brighton have had a good cup run. Obviously, it'll be a really, really tough test. And I think Arsenal will, they'll definitely want to win this one, but they'll probably have a bigger eye on the league. But it's a pretty, pretty tough place to go. But arguably a free hit, and it should be a good one. And I think the strikes have been called off, so hopefully that'll make it easier for the many Brighton fans to get to the game. It'll also be interesting to see, on a slightly different note, obviously there's been a lot of talk about the new away ticket policy, and there were increased numbers of absentees from the City game, but I think a lot of that might have been down to the fact that there was a strike for that October match. So hopefully the numbers will be lower in terms of missing the game, but yes, should be a good one.
Yeah, absolutely. 7,000 Brighton fans at the Emirates. The atmosphere is going to be bouncing. We're going to be wanting a win. We'll be wanting to bring the atmosphere. It'll be a great away day out, regardless. So it'll be great. It'll be great to see it'll be interesting to see how Zerbi takes on the Carling Cup, the Carabao Cup, even. It's just a case of just wait and see how it goes.
Great. So I think we'll wrap it up there. We will be talking all things Brighton, I guess the Arsenal match, and then looking ahead to the Aston Villa game on Sunday. Thanks a lot for listening, guys, and up the Albion.